another video. I'm joining you in the beautiful South Beach in Miami, Florida. As promised, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to travel the world for cheap. By the way, I got this flight round trip for less than $100. So stay tuned on how to travel for cheap. So if someone was to ask 3 things about me, it would be I love Jesus, I love people, and I absolutely love traveling. I am totally obsessed with traveling. If you follow my travel diary on Instagram, then you will see I'm always somewhere. People's like, where is Brittany now? Because I absolutely love traveling. Life is too short to not experience this beautiful, big, and great world. I'm an advocate for traveling and to teach and showing people how you can travel on a budget. So in the US, I've been to over 23 states, and some of my favorite places to visit is New York, Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and of course my hometown, the beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I've also traveled abroad and I've been to over 10 countries, and some of my favorite cities were Dubai. Nothing can compare to Dubai. I feel like it's a little Wakanda forever. I also love London. I love Paris, Rome, Venice, Milan, and Amsterdam. So I want to say that I am not a traveling expert. I do not have all the answers, but from what I've learned and experienced so far, I want to share with you guys to encourage you to go out and see this beautiful world for cheap. My #1 tip for traveling on a budget is to be flexible. Flexibility is everything. Even when traveling, there are going to be things that arise that you have no control over, but you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible with your date. The further in advance you get your ticket, the cheaper it's going to cost. If you're traveling abroad, I would encourage you to get your ticket and to plan at least 5 to 6 months in advance. When you're traveling abroad, you want to make sure that you know where you're staying. You want to make sure that you know where to go. You want to look at the metro system. You want to have everything in order because it's a new country. Also, you want to look up the languages. Most countries speak different languages, so you want to know what to look for. You want to know different things. These things you have to plan in advance. So you have to be super flexible with your dates. Dates are so important. Like literally from a Tuesday to a Thursday, the prices on a flight can be up to $200 difference. So I encourage people to go on Google Flights and you look at the different prices. So say if you leave on the weekends, your flight are going to always be more expensive. Friday through Sundays, your flight is going to at least be $100 more expensive. Versus if you fly on a Monday or Tuesday, you'll pay like at least $100 or $200 less. So guys, you have to be super flexible and pick the dates that are not as popular, but it's cheaper. Also, you have to be flexible in driving. If you stay in a smaller city, you're going to pay more for your flight. But if you travel to a bigger city, you're going to pay less for your flight. For example, if you live within 2 to 3 hours of a major city, I would encourage you to drive to that major city and to fly out from there. There can actually save you up to $200 to $300. If you don't want to drive your car, I encourage you to ride the Greyhound to that city. You know, don't want to put more miles in your car, so ride the Greyhound to that city. Save yourself money, save yourself miles. I traveled to Europe. I've never traveled to from Atlanta. To fly from Atlanta to London, I would pay $1,500 to $1,700. So when I fly to Europe, I always fly from New York or Boston, and those trips are only $400 to $500. That's saving me $1,000 when I travel to Boston or New York. So guys, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to travel a little distance to get a cheaper price. There are so many different options when traveling. There are hotels available, you have Airbnb, and you also have hostels. Now, depending upon the city, the hotels can be a good price or extremely high. For instance, when we stayed in Dubai, we had a 5-star hotel for less than $65 USD a night. But if you stay in a place like Paris or New York, then you're going to pay at least $300 a night. So guys, there are so many options if you don't want to pay $300 a night. You have Airbnb. Airbnb is when people rent out their rooms, their condos, their houses for a good affordable price, and you have a host. So these people are your hosts and they help you out with different questions that you have. We rented out an Airbnb before in New Orleans and Boston, and we had amazing hosts. Hostels are also a good option for those who are trying to travel on a budget. Hostels are kind of like college dormitories. They have private rooms or they have shared rooms. Most times they're located in major cities in a central park. Hostels is a great way to meet like-minded travelers who are traveling from all over the world. And also they have different activities. For like Monday they'll have karaoke night, Tuesday they have movie night. So I think hostels are really good for those who are solo traveling or for those who are like college age and you want to meet like-minded traveling people. Also, if you're on a budget, you want to stay in a central location. And whatever city you're traveling in, make sure you're staying in a central location. Therefore, you can catch Uber for cheap to most of the places, or you can catch the metro system, or you can simply walk. And most of the cities I've been to, we've stayed in the central places. You don't have to worry about paying to rent a car. You can simply stay in a central location. You can walk everywhere. You can take the public metro system. But with everything, you have to be very cautious and you have to be alert with everything. But if you stay in a central location, you will save so much money and so much time. And also, you can experience the city way better versus if you're staying in the outer skirts. Yeah, your hotel may be $100 cheaper, but you can't really get a feel for a city and enjoy because you have to drive 30 minutes out. So I would encourage everyone, if you can, to stay in the heart of the city and to try everything and to do your research with everything to see the best cities to stay in. Google has everything you need to know. So if you want to go to a place, Google the best and safest places to stay in and Google the places to stay away from. Also, I would encourage you beforehand, if you don't like to spend a lot of money on food, if you're traveling, I would encourage you to sometimes, if you get a hotel or Airbnb where you can cook yourself breakfast sometimes, or you can cook lunch or dinner. That can save a lot of money if you buy a few groceries instead of eating out every day, because eating out can get very expensive. I stayed in Europe for a month one summer and it got really expensive eating out every single day. But if you get a place where you can cook, that will save you so much money. Number 3, be willing to try budget airlines. Listen guys, if you're bougie, this is not for you. If you only want to fly first class in Delta and you want to pay $1,000 for your flight, then that's good, you got it. But if you want to fly on a budget, then guys, sometimes you have to be willing to try Spirit and Frontier Airlines. Now guys, I'm sure you heard about Spirit, and I would encourage you, unless you have the Holy Spirit, don't fly on Spirit. All jokes aside. But yeah, if you want to travel for cheap, you have to be willing to try those budget airlines. Flying Spirit and Frontier can save you up to $200 and $300 versus one of the major airlines. And I would encourage you to only use these travel with these airlines if you're doing for leisure or for fun. If you have an important business meeting or you have like a wedding or something really important, I would not encourage these, because I do hear a lot that Spirit cancels some of your flights. Spirit flies out of most of the major cities in the US, and you can get a flight round trip for less than $100 on Spirit and Frontier. I flew from Atlanta to Chicago on Spirit for $67 round trip. I am not exaggerating. Overseas, they also have a lot of budget airlines over there too. Wow Airlines and also Ryanair Airlines. I flew from London to Dubai one way for $167. Guys, don't be afraid of the budget airlines. Of course, like, do your research and do what's best for you. But hey, if you want to save $500, go for it. My 4th tip is to break up your payments. You do not have to pay for your flight at one time. You can choose to pay for one way on one paycheck and say next month you want to pay another way. You can pay going there 1 week, then the next week you can pay going back. So it's up to you. You can be really flexible to break up your payments so that you won't have to pay for everything at one time. I'll also encourage you, if you're flying overseas and you want to go like Europe, there are so many different cities to go to. Like, you can literally fly from Rome to London to Paris to Milan to Venice for all less than $60 one way. So if you want to do that, I encourage you to you can book it at different times, so that way you're not paying for everything at one time. You can break it up. And also, Google has a beautiful feature that I absolutely love called Google Flight Tracker. With Google Flight Tracker, you're literally, if you see a flight that you like, you track the flight, and then Google will email you when the price goes up or down. My 5th tip for traveling on a budget is to pack light. Guys, this is so important. You do not want to pack a lot of stuff. When you're traveling in the US for domestic flights like Frontier, also Spirit Airlines, you have one free personal item. So if you get a small book bag or a small bag, you don't have to pay for that bag. Versus if you get a suitcase, you're going to pay $45 for a check-in bag or even for a carry-on. So packing light is going to be your best friend. And plus, when you're traveling a lot, no one wants to carry a heavy suitcase. Oh my gosh, it is such a hassle. I learned my lesson a few years ago. I worked in DC for like a month, and I had the heaviest suitcase, and I had to travel from different places with my heavy suitcase, and it was such a hassle. So guys, I encourage you to learn how to pack. There are different videos on YouTube that show you how to fold your clothes military style. It will save you so much hassle and save you so much money. When you're traveling overseas, it costs way more to travel overseas. You're going to pay $60 to $75 for a check-in bag. And also, they are very particular. They are going to weigh your bag. And if your bag is over, you can pay up to $100 if your bag does not meet the required weight. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed my video on how to travel on a budget. I hope that you fly away, get your passport now. Start saving, start doing your research, and travel and see this beautiful world and all that it has to offer. Look forward to more videos on traveling on a budget and overall my experiences in different places. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to me on Instagram at highheels_highstandards. Don't forget to press like and subscribe here at Britt J. All right, guys, remember to catch flights and not feelings.